Welcome everyone to our celebration service. For those who are online with us, Cal is your communication link with us. If this is your first time attending Genesis service online, you are invited to say hello, where you're from, and how you found us in the chat. Genesis is continuing its minister search. We have our profile and invitational video available for review on the CS Ministers listserv. We are starting to receive resumes and we'll have more information to share if they pass the initial interview processes. In the meantime, let us all join in saying our new minister's sacred covenant easy prayer. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to glorify God, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of God as love. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written, I dwell in the house of love. Love attends me in my home of the soul. I shall never leave this home of the spirit. I shall abide in this home forevermore. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as revealing the truth and power of love. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am powerfully expressing divine love, inspiring all to do the same. I am blessing and honoring all paths of spirituality, awakening deeper truths and spiritual growth. I am the place where God shows up, expressing divine love, allowing truth and joy to heal all. I am embracing, teaching, and exploring spiritual truths from diverse spiritual teachings. I am teaching and embodying prosperity, trusting that God is the source of my good. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will glorify God and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, God is gracious, and so it is. Now it's time for our announcements. These are just reminders of what is happening. For detailed information about the event, you can check out our website at genesiscsl.org and our Facebook page or Eventbrite and our meetup page. So every Wednesday, Karen Williams and I do an intention circle. I better make sure this is the slide that was up. And we try to do a different theme every month, and this month is building community. So I'd like for you to join us on Wednesday evening. The link is on our website. It's also, if you get our weekly announcements, it's also easier to go into that than the meeting that we have up here. And you can click right into the intention circle. Or if you want me to send you the link, I can send that to you. You just need to catch me after service or send me an email. And then on January 14th, Reverend Eric is doing another workshop for us. It's being held right here in Carco Theatre. And this one is from 10 to 12. And it's going to be writing our intentions. We will review 2022 and set intentions for 2023. This is a powerful process for you to co-create with Spirit your best life for the new year. The price is $50 and all proceeds will benefit our move to the new space. Our space is limited, so reserve your spot in advance if you would, please. Just making sure I have everything. Are there any first-timers here today that are brave enough to raise their hands? And then if you're brave enough to stand up and introduce yourselves. And you can say no.
I'm happy to.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bridget Christiansen, and I'm here with Reverend James.
Great.
And this is my friend Tricia.
I'm Tricia Curran. Also here with James.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Bridget and Tricia, right?
Yep.
And welcome, Reverend James. Did you raise your hand?
No, but now I
Is this- We'll get to meet you a little later. Okay. Cal, anybody on?
Nope.
Nope. So before we get started, does anyone need a prayer card or an envelope if you didn't get one when you came in? Lorianne has some.
My friend here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gloria.
Okay, great. These cards are for praying for a miracle or change in your life by possibly releasing something that is no longer working or welcoming in more good. When you fill out a prayer card of whatever is on your heart, a practitioner will pray on them for you this week. So now I'd like to thank our volunteers. First of all, I want to thank Anna. Where is she? She's still out there. Anna sat in this morning for me, welcoming people as they came in, and she's normally running around doing other things, so I was grateful that she could do that for me. I appreciate that. And then we have Soren Jensen is running our sound and lights. Michael Johns is in charge of the camera for all of you watching from home, as well as for our projector here. Lori Ann Bradbury is our usher this morning, and she will be collecting the offering later on. And as I mentioned before, Cal is your communication link if you are watching online. Oh, and I am the volunteer coordinator. So anyway, we're so glad that you're all here, and we are so very grateful for all of our volunteers. If you would give them all a hand, please. So now is the time that I introduce our practitioner on duty. This morning it was me. And I led a meditation before service on the oneness with God and how we are all one with God. If you missed that, it will be on Facebook for 30 days, and now it's on YouTube Live. You can watch the service live there as well. So my reading for today comes from an email that I get almost daily from a place called, oh, we better sing our song, huh? Good thing Michael's back there looking at me. Okay, Rick, I'm sorry. I almost cut you off. You could have yelled at me.
I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know.
Here we go. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace that passes understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace that passes understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. There's a field. I'll meet you
As I started saying before, the reading that I've chosen today is from an email that I get 2 or 3 times during the week from a place called Humanity's Team. And the CEO of that group wrote a couple of days ago on how we are to embrace conscious living, which is what we like to teach here at Centers for Spiritual Living. So, and I thought it went with my meditation on oneness with God. As you know, that we just finished up the month of December with the theme of darkness into light. During the season of light, many of us reflected on the past year and things that happened in our lives, our families, our community, and our world. Those of us embracing conscious living as a guiding philosophy, as we are encouraged to do in Centers for Spiritual Living, may have meditated on how the past has shaped us and may shape us in the future. Embracing conscious living is like stepping through a doorway and feeling deeply into this place of connection, of oneness and benevolence. This place only has love as its basis. You will notice that you don't see anybody walk through that door of consciousness and then walk back out. You cannot return to the person you were when you were less conscious. Evolution doesn't work that way. You walk through that door, and all of a sudden you look out on this world, and it's all irreversibly and amazingly sacred. You feel blessed and see only possibility and blessings. This sacred universe has no upper limit of potential. You step through that door, you see all of these beautiful things that are here for us and for our families and our loved ones. And it's impossible not to share it. When we walk out into the community and the rest of the world with this awareness and understanding and express our light, everything changes. You can't speak unkindly to or about a stranger. You can't start a war. You can't do anything to intentionally harm this planet. As someone living consciously, you flip the switch and it is all about supporting life, affirming life, and nurturing life. That's what conscious living is all about. This is what living a life of oneness is about. No separation between me and God, or between me and anyone else. We are all one. And a couple of quotes that I pulled out on oneness. The first one is, human nature was originally one, and we were a whole. Let me read that again. Human nature was originally one, and we were a whole. That was written by Plato in approximately 400 BC. Ernest Holmes says, feeling and thinking and sensing the allness of spirit, we enter into conscious communion with it. Its essence flows into our acts, spilling itself in and through everything we do. And finally, a quote from Eckhart Tolle, God is not outside of you. God is inextricably part of what you are. God is the dimension of depth within you. And now if you would join me in prayer. I am grateful for this new day, for this new year. I recognize the power for the good that is God. God is the good to which there is no opposite. I am grateful to be living in a universe of divine intelligence, which is love. Today I align myself with divine love and know that it will bring every good and perfect thing to me. I am guided and directed on my path and know whatever is needed is already provided. I replace any doubt with faith, any guilt with forgiveness, and any thoughts of separation with love. For we are one with the one and with all of creation. And so I step out into this world and receive the blessings of this day. And so it is. Amen. And now I'd like for you all to welcome Second Shot. And our guest performer today is Cal Boyle. Thank you. What a great way to start out this theme this month of new beginnings. Thank you to Cal Boyle and to Second Shot. And so now I would like to introduce you to our guest speaker today. Did you want to sing also? No. Reverend James Kress is a newly affiliated CSL minister. Prior to his ministerial affiliation, he served as a senior pastor in the evangelical Christian tradition for over 25 years. In addition to helping start 3 churches, James served as music director, youth pastor, counselor, and led numerous local and international ministry teams. He received his bachelor's degree from the University of Washington, a master's of theology from Liberty University, and a doctorate of divinity from Emerson Theological Institute. James is an ICF certified coach, and when not teaching and preaching, he enjoys providing spiritual direction with expertise and compassion and somatic experience. He enjoys travel, fitness, and being in the outdoors. James is married and has 3 grown children, and he lives in Kirklands. So please help me welcome Reverend James Kress.
All right. Sure nice to be here with all of you today, and I'll raise both my hands, having not raised hands earlier today, and I want to say Happy New Year. We are here together on the first day of a new year, 2023. I think that's pretty cool, and I'm really grateful to be here with you today. Just being around here and being around the church and everything, it's really exciting. I really appreciate the heart and the spirit that's here. And in keeping with the theme of new beginnings, I want to spend a few moments this morning and talk to you about a new look at new beginnings. Looking at it from some new eyes, or maybe some fresh eyes. And it's just interesting how these things all come together. I had no plan in this service or anything like that, but just, the things that have been talked about and sung about this morning really set the container for what I want to talk to you about today. The first thing was the meditation this morning, and this idea of oneness with each other and oneness with the divine. I'd like us to just remember that in these few moments that we have together, because we are connected, like it or not. I think there might be times you think, I don't want to be connected with that person or that person. At least I feel that way. But you know what? It is as it is. We are linked and we are joined together relationally with each other and with the sacred, the divine, the transcendent, God, soul, spirits, guides, whatever you want to call it. We are connected to that. The second thing that I wanted to just attention to is the song that was just sung. I love the name of the music group, Second Shot. It makes me think of coffee. Let's all get a second shot of caffeine here. But the thing of making all things new, again, I think is prevalent and top of mind as we think of this first day of a new year. We're thinking about new things. What's new this year? What's coming? What's out there? What's new? But this idea of new, again, is something I want us to be thinking about. But I like the message of that song. All things are new. And then the third thing that I just draw my attention to, I don't know if it's possible to put the logo of the church that's up there, the one that has the little tree of life on it that says Genesis. If not, it's okay. But as you heard, I've spent a number of years ministering in the evangelical tradition, and as such, I've read the Bible and preached from the Bible for many, many years. And so you may hear overtones of that today. And just a disclaimer, I want you, I'm unapologetically, essentially Christian, and that's my background, but I'm not exclusively Christian. One of the things I love, and the reason I became affiliated in the Centers for Spiritual Living, is I see and appreciate the value and worth in all religion, in all faith, in all spirituality, in philosophy, in sociology, in anthropology, and science, and putting it all together and finding the goodness and the harmony in it. I love that. But my background's essentially Christian, and as such, the book of Genesis and the book of Revelation are probably my 2 favorite books in the Bible. And the reason the book of Genesis is my favorite is because how the second chapter ends with the picture of creation in its finished state, particularly the male, and the female and the divine present. And it says that they are naked and not ashamed. And it's this idea of just innocent being. One of the songs that we sang earlier, I guess there's 4 things now. Out in the field of right and wrong, there's a field, I'll meet you there. That's a Rumi quote, right? And it's Joel Goldsmith, and one of the things we talk about in Centers for Spiritual Living, that in our highest consciousness, and ultimate consciousness, when we are really disconnected from our sense of self and that pure awareness, there is no evil. And as such, there's no good. And in fact, it was that consciousness and that awareness of good and evil that entered into the human experience, that's where things fell apart. And in the Christian tradition, they call that the fall of man, the original sin, and a whole theology was built about Jesus about that I'm not going to get into today. But to hold on to this idea of original goodness and the fact that, no, in our essence, in our being, in our core as people, we are fundamentally good. We are fundamentally precious. We are fundamentally valuable. We are fundamentally whole and complete. But this experience of, and this judgment of good and evil is what creates separation and division, or I should say, the illusion of separation and disconnection from each other. So it's kind of holding all of that I want to talk to you a little bit again about this idea of new beginnings. And I want to just spend a few minutes playing with the word new and beginning. As we've already said, today is the first day of a what year? A new year. Yeah. When the sun comes up, it's the start of a what day? A new day, yeah. If I'm going to go to the Tesla dealership, I might be shopping for a new car, yeah. If I go to the mall, I might be shopping for a new outfit, shoes. Yeah, I was waiting to hear shoes. I knew that was going to come up. Yeah, okay. Maybe not go to the mall, maybe go to Amazon and be searching for something new. But here's the idea. When we think of new, we think of it in this material sense. That there's something out there that I need to gain, that I need to acquire. And then by default, maybe there's something old that I have to let go of or release. I mentioned a moment ago that another favorite book of mine in the Bible is the book of Revelation. In the book of Revelation, it says that in the end times, the consummation of times, I, the divine, am going to make all things new. And it's important to note that it doesn't say I'm going to make all new things. There's a whole theology that some people have, waiting for the great Armageddon, where the divine is going to destroy and blow up the universe and recreate it. I don't think that's exactly how or what the divine message is. But the message of taking what is and making it new, that's all about what divine consciousness, what growth, what maturity, what waking up is all about. So as we think about this new year, that's kind of this idea of new that I want us to have. But what about beginning? What comes to mind when you think of beginning? Well, there's no such thing as a beginning without a what? An end, right? Or with every end, there is a new beginning, sure. Or we think of beginning in terms of timing, right? There's a beginning, a blank, and an end. Beginning, middle, and end. And we think of it in this linear sense. But I'd like to read a little poem here, a little writing from John O'Donohue. He's one of my favorite authors. About thinking about beginning as it relates to our understanding of time. And I want to just invite us to think a little bit more expansively, not discarding how we normally think about it, but be open to reflecting on thinking about time a little bit more deeply and expansively. John O'Donohue writes this: "The nature of calendar time is linear. It is made up of durations that begin and end. The Celtic imagination always sensed that beneath time there was an eternal depth. This offers us a completely different way of relating to time. It relieves time of the finality of ending. While something may come to an ending on the surface of time, its presence, meaning, and effect continue to be held and integrated into the eternal. This is how spirit unfolds and deepens. In this sense, eternal time is intimate. It is where the unfolding narrative of individual life is gathered and woven. Eternal life is eternal memory. Therefore, it becomes possible to imagine a realm beyond endings where all that has unfolded is not canceled or lost, but where the spirit depths of it are already arriving home. I like that last thought, arriving home. And could it be that the start of this new year might be another chapter in your life and my life coming home? Could it be that a new beginning might not be in going out and getting something new? Nothing wrong with that. No judgment. That's a part of life and how things go. But on a deep, eternal level, from thinking about intention and purpose, maybe there's a fresh way we can look at it. It was Søren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher, who said, life can only be understood by looking backward, but it must be lived, living forward. It's both and. Last night we attended the New Year's Eve service. I've been a part of CSL Seattle for about 3.5 years, and so we attended the service there last night. And Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis we were talking about intentions, and she mentioned that an intention is like a hook that pulls you into the future. I like that. I think it's Michael Beckwith who says that, pain pushes and vision pulls, right? And again, in the human experience that we have, both are true. We have painful moments that tend to push us somewhere, but then a new vision, a new idea, a new thought pulls us toward it. The idea here, again, is to get beyond sort of this linear thinking of time and newness into something that's more whole and comprehensive. Let me put it to you this way. Think about this. In thinking about new beginnings, are we human beings trying to have a spiritual experience, or spiritual beings having a human experience? Now again, I'm not trying to separate these out and elevate one over the other, because there's dimensions of truth to both of these. But if our experience here is just limited as humans trying really, really hard to have a spiritual experience, at least for me, my interaction with that framework and modality is that I'm trying two things. I'm trying, first of all, really, really hard to hold on to this human life and everything that's about it. I am going to strive and I'm going to work really, really hard to get it right. And I'm going to try really, really hard to have a spiritual experience. Rather, if I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, I realize that there is a component to my essence, to my being, to my life that transcends this human experience. And therefore, I can live with an open mind, an open heart, and take in all that this life has to offer, the painful and the joyful and the wonderful, realizing that this life is but a fleeting blip on the eternal screen. That's not to say that it's meaningless or without purpose, but it is to put it into perspective. In his book, The Infinite Game, Simon Sinek kind of plays with this a little bit, where he talks about the difference between a finite game and an infinite game. Any of you in here like sports? Some of you, Seahawks, hockey, whatever, okay? In finite games, there are known players, known rules, and a known ending, most often known as a scoreboard. In an infinite game, the players are unknown. The rules change, and there is no end. There's no winning, there's no losing. There's only ahead or behind. And measurements and metrics and data and all that kind of stuff are seen as guideposts, not end-all be-alls. Looking at it from a more theological end, again, if we're about human beings trying to have a spiritual experience, then heaven becomes this place that we go to when we die. Oh, and by the way, you better get it right so that you get there. And don't screw it up so that you don't go somewhere else. I always used to, I have to be careful not to wander into stories of my former life, but I always just think, wait a minute, hold on a minute, Jesus said that what? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is within you. To the thief on the cross who said, Jesus, remember me when you enter in your kingdom. What did Jesus say? Today you will be with me in paradise. Not 3 days later, not a month later, not you got to do this, and this, but no, today it was a consciousness in the state of mind. Therefore, heaven isn't so much a place that we die and go to, it's a place that which we awaken and live from. And I think that's tied to new beginnings and new thought and new beginnings. So let's take a minute and then again think about new thought and new beginnings from again the standpoint of Jesus and what Jesus came to offer, or Jesus came to offer as a guide. And when I refer to Jesus, I think of Jesus as a great example as opposed to the great exception. He was an example, a great example who embodied what is referred to as Christ consciousness. Christ is not Jesus' last name. Christ is the consciousness that Jesus embodied. The technical term is incarnated. Simple term is brought to life, lived it in such a way that people were attracted to it. And what's always attracted me to, so much is made about, with all due respect to Christians and the Christian tradition, so much is made about Jesus' resurrection and death and everything like that. But I've always been curious, what if Jesus never rose from the dead? It's kind of a trick question, but because I've always been captured by the people who followed and said yes to Jesus before any of that stuff ever happened. Because I think that's really the essence and the heart of his teaching. So it's the difference between having faith in Jesus and rather having the faith of Jesus. In other words, it's looking at Jesus, it's looking at the world through his eyes, hearing the world through his ears, feeling the world with his heart. So the way this relates again to a new look and new beginnings and how you are approaching this new year, the invitation, of course, is to think about what's new, to feel what's new, but to even go deeper and ask yourself, what do I really desire? To go even deeper than feeling, but what do I desire? And as you do that, to see if you can notice what is your relationship with your desires. I know what mine are. I have some pretty strong desires, very strong desires in my life. And yet over the course of life, a lot of those desires have been shamed. They've been put down, they've been ridiculed, they've been mocked or whatever. So there's a level and a measure of disconnect or fear or struggle or whatever. But my invitation to all of us here today as we are on January 1st, 2023, is to see if we can be open to and listen deeply to what is our deepest desire. What do I really want? Because it's in that place that your expression of divinity wants to be in the world today. And I'll tell you something, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. There will be people who are disappointed in you. People who you let down. People who don't always understand it. That's part of the human experience. That's part of what Jesus understood. That's really the archetype of Jesus on the cross, not dying on the cross for the sins of the world because of bad things you and I have done, but realizing, no, this way of open-hearted living opens up sometimes that, yeah, you're going to feel like you're nailed to your own cross. In fact, that's what Jesus said. If you follow after him, you take up your own what? Cross and follow after him. So again, and it's not just living in suffering and doom and gloom or whatever, but it's acknowledging and welcoming that yes, sometimes pain and sorrow is a part of the process. But knowing that in the pain, in the sorrow, and in the joy, and in the victory, we're all connected and we're all in this together. But the invitation again is to listen and to think about and to reflect, what do I desire? And to be mindful too. I was thinking about this again. I'm not much on social media, And I just don't do it because again, I appreciate it and it's here to stay and I get it and all this kind of stuff, but it's just like, man, everybody else's life is just so perfect and they've got these grandiose dreams and oh my gosh, their intentions and their resolutions are so grandiose and life-changing and transforming and I'm just so ordinary. I'm just so boring. I struggle with resolutions. I can't keep a resolution for an hour, And again, it's not to knock that. Again, there's a place for that, but it's to bring a level of humanity and reality and perspective to it. That yes, there's a yearly component to resolutions, but there's also a daily element to a resolution, an hourly element, maybe even just a moment to moment. And those resolutions are also going to evolve and to change. And what could life be like if we allowed that evolution and that change to unfold in all of its goodness, in all of its purpose, in all of its meaning? We say, it was said earlier, that the universe conspires for our good. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I come back to that when it seems like all hell is breaking loose and nothing's going right. No, that's my experience of it, but I hold on to the fact that yes, there is a goodness, there is the dawning of something new that's coming. I may not know what it is, but I'm holding on to that. The other thing about desire, Richard Rohr is another author of mine too, and I hope this would help you. Again, your intentions and your purpose and all of that may be nebulous and hard to put into words. When we get down to this place of desire, down in our gut and our root, it's hard to put it into words. But remember this: this is Richard Rohr. We don't think ourselves into new ways of living. We live ourselves into new ways of thinking. So allow the experience of wherever you are, whatever is happening to you, to mold and to shape you, and then afterwards, oftentimes, the thinking will come. So I'd like to leave you with 3 things. This is for those of you note takers, or if you do note takers, or what did you learn in church today, or what did you take away? If you need that, I'd like to offer you 3 things again that I hope help you think about new beginnings, resolutions, intentions, whatever you come to this new day with in a way that's going to be helpful and inspiring and expansive and grounding for you. 3 paths to new beginnings. The first one is this: living with nothing to prove. The path of nothing to prove. There is nothing in this life fundamentally, essentially, because of yours and my goodness and completeness. There is nothing really to be earned, or there is nothing to be deserved, but really only things that to be offered and to be received. The path of nothing to prove is paved with the stones of unconditional love, or grace, as we heard earlier. What was that? What did that stand for? God, what was it?
God reveals absolute compassion eternally.
God reveals absolute compassion eternally. Yeah. Absolute, unchanging, unlimited. Notice if you have a struggle with this idea of unconditional love. Really? Okay, yeah. But just notice and play with if there's some resistance there. Explore that. It's about unconditional love. The second thing, the second path to new beginnings is the pathway of having nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. This is all about living with, as Brene Brown says, an open heart and a strong back. Receiving everything. It takes courage. To live with an open heart takes courage. My middle daughter, I adore her. She's a wonderful artist, and she creates. And also just goes through, periods of anxiety about that. We talk about it, whatever. I just try to say, man, yeah, anxiety is not fun. I get it too. I don't like it. But to be able to welcome it and to acknowledge it and to act in the face of that, that's courage. Courage is not the absence of fear nor the absence of anxiety. It is movement and action in the presence of it. So there's nothing to hide. And thirdly, The path to new beginnings is the path of having nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. When I shared this earlier with someone, they said, well, I think of my family, I think of my money, my savings, and all of that, and I don't want to let go of that. I don't want to lose that. Of course we hold on to those things and they mean a lot. But again, fundamentally, if we believe that there is abundance, that there is limitlessness to the amount of love, to the amount of resources, to the amount of energy, to the amount of life that is in the world, then I can live with an open hand and hold on to the things that I have, but not cling to them. There's really nothing to lose at all. So I hope that gives you some things as you go on your way today and maybe reflect and journal, walk, whatever your practice is, as you think about what does this new year have for me? To think about it from this perspective of what deeply within is calling deep within to be offered, to be expressed, and feel into that, desire into that. And also be open to what is it in this new year that is mine to receive, to take in, to welcome. And then watch what happens. It's an amazing ride. Amen? And so it is. Let's pray. And as I pray, I'll invite the band to come back up here and close us out. I just invite you now to just, in this moment, take a few nice deep breaths. And as you connect with your breath, yourself, your body, just notice what's present for you in this moment. Having heard these things and been together in community, what's present for you now? And in being present for you now, asking yourself the question, what do I really desire? What is deeply important to me? Deeply valuable to me? What do I want the most? And then being open to allowing an intention to emerge. It was St. Thomas who said, if we bring forth that which is within us, that which we bring forth will save us. What are you wanting to bring forth into this new year? So as we are with and as we hold all of the life, all of the connection, all of the goodness, all of the abundance and desire that is here, we do so in this container of divine connection, knowing that we are connected in unbreakable ways. And so knowing all of that goodness, looking into the mystery of this new day and the mystery of this new year, I, with confidence, affirm the goodness in every life that is here, in every breath that is breathed, in every relationship that is represented, and however it will all change in ways known and in ways unknown. I know for us collectively that we know and we anchor and we are rooted in the assurance of the goodness of it all. And so we wait with anticipation, joyful anticipation, to grow into the goodness and the perfection of our lives that already is here. And we do that with gratitude, peace, faith, and joy. And so it is. So it is. Thank you.
great soul. So now is the time in our service that we focus on our giving and our receiving. If you have a prayer card, you may want to take the time to share a prayer request with us, and the practitioners take those and then pray over them during the week. And now is also the time that we take the time to share our blessings with Genesis. And as we all know, as you give, so shall you receive. So if you would take the time to craft a gift to Genesis, that would be great. So probably a good thing I practiced this last night, but I still forgot part of it. You can also put your prayer requests on Facebook or on our website at genesiscsl.org, and you can also make contributions that way as well. If you are complete and would take your offering and your prayer card and hold them to your heart, and join me while we say our gratitude prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. So now Lorianne is going to pick up our offering and our prayer cards. Do you have while we sing God is my source. These offerings that we have received, we all are in awareness that God is gracious and good to us each and every day, each and every minute of the day, knowing that we are all blessed in our lives. And I thank you all for being here. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. I wish each and every one of you, whether you're here at Carco Theatre or online, a week filled with joy, love, and true connection with all. So please stand and join in together in our closing song.
Faith
Thank you all. Have a great week.